Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing 3 things that I cannot do as an American living in London. For those of you that do not know, I moved to the UK in 2017 and have been living here ever since. So let's get into number 1. Okay, so one of the things that I am ineligible to do as an American living in the UK is to work as a civil servant. I cannot work as a part of the civil service. But let's start by discussing what is the civil service. This is from gov.uk and it says, the civil service serves the government of the day and supports them to develop and implement its policies as effectively as possible. It goes on to say, civil servants are part of your local community and all around the UK, providing essential services that help improve and save lives. The civil service provides services directly to people all over the country, including paying benefits and pensions, running employment services, running prisons, issuing driver's licenses. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Under who we are, it says, we're politically impartial and work in central government departments, agencies, and non-departmental government bodies, or NDPBs. The civil service does not include government ministers who are politically appointed, members of the British Armed Forces, the police, officers of the local government, or NDPBs of the Houses of Parliament, employees of the NHS, or staff of the royal household. Were coordinated and managed by the Prime Minister in his role as the Minister for the Civil Service. The most senior civil servant in the department is the Permanent Secretary. Now that we have an understanding of what the civil service here is in the UK, let's next go into who is eligible to work for this service. Okay, so this document here is also on gov.uk. So under the section titled Eligibility for Employment in the Civil Service on the Grounds of Nationality, it says, in general, only nationals from the following countries and associations of countries are eligible for employment in the civil service: the United Kingdom, the Republic of Ireland, and the Commonwealth. Certain EEA, Swiss, and Turkish nationals are also eligible for employment. And then it goes down further and explain who is eligible. But who is not listed on here is Americans. So as an American citizen who is living in the UK, I'm not eligible to work as a civil servant here. Now, let's move on to number 2. So the next thing that I am ineligible to do as an American citizen living in the UK is vote. I cannot vote in general elections. Back home, we would call that national elections or local elections. I can't vote in either. And I am someone who is politically active. Although I've been living here in the UK since 2017, I have voted back home in every national election that we've had, including last year's 2024 election. So let's get into who can vote in the national or general elections and local elections. So this is from the House of Commons Library, and it goes into who is eligible to vote in UK elections. First part is about the UK Parliament elections. Across the whole of the UK, to vote in an election for the UK's Parliament, someone must be registered to vote in the constituency, be of voting age, 18 years old on polling day, be either a British citizen, a qualifying Commonwealth citizen, or a citizen of the Republic of Ireland, and not be subject to any legal incapacity to vote. Prisoners serving a sentence for a conviction cannot vote in UK parliamentary election, and neither can peers in the House of Lords. So, next section is about local or devolved elections. So, I'm just going to read the section about England because that is where I live. So, it says England and Northern Ireland. For local elections in England and Northern Ireland, the rules are the same as they are for UK Parliament elections, with three main exceptions. Members of the House of Lords can vote in local elections if they meet the age and residency requirements. Some EU citizens can vote in local elections. The eligibility is explained below. Overseas voters cannot vote in local elections. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So my partner is a European citizen, a European national. So when we have like the mayor of London elections or our local MP elections, he can vote. I cannot. As an American citizen, I cannot vote in local elections like for our mayor, and I also cannot vote in general or national elections. So that is number 2 of something that I cannot do, something that I am ineligible to do as an American living in the UK. Okay, so the third and final thing that I am ineligible to do as an American citizen living in the UK is I cannot run for public office. So this is from UK Parliament's website, and it says who can stand as an MP. To stand as a candidate in a UK parliamentary general election, you need to be at least 18 years old and a British citizen, a citizen of the Republic of Ireland, a citizen of a Commonwealth country who does not require leave to enter or remain in the UK, or has indefinite leave to remain in the UK. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to dig deeper into this. So because I've been living in the UK for over 5 years, I had the option to become a citizen or to become a permanent resident. I opted to become a permanent resident rather than becoming a citizen. There are thousands and thousands of people that have multiple citizenships. It's just a personal choice. And it was my personal choice to only remain a citizen in the US, but if I decide to move somewhere else after living in the UK, I again will likely choose the option of being a permanent resident rather than becoming a citizen. And it's just a personal preference. Now, regarding item number 3 that we discussed, being able to run for public office, Boris Johnson, the former prime minister here in the UK, was born in New York. I was also born in New York, and as you know, if you are born in the United States, you are automatically a citizen. And I'm going to share an article in a minute, but when he was mayor of London and there were whispers about him potentially running for prime minister, there were concerns about him having dual citizenship, about him having American citizenship and UK citizenship, and he ended up relinquishing his American citizenship before he became prime minister. And we'll get into that in a moment. But essentially, if I had at the time elected to become a British citizen, I would then have dual nationality and I would be able to vote and do all of these other things. Again, it's a personal preference. If I choose to relocate and become an expat in another country outside of the UK, again, I am likely to choose the option of being a permanent resident rather than a citizen of that nation. And that's just a personal preference. Right now, as things are, as they stand, I would prefer to only have an American citizenship rather than dual citizenship elsewhere. But that may change. That may change in the future. But for now, I'm comfortable with my choice to be a permanent resident. Although I am a little bit salty about being taxed because I do work. I'm gainfully employed. I'm a skilled worker. So I am taxed. And I would like to vote. I would like my voice heard by the ballot box, but I'm ineligible to do that. And that's a choice I made, and I have to live with that. So let me share this article about Boris Johnson and how he ended up relinquishing his American citizenship. Okay, so this article from Politico is when Boris Johnson was the foreign secretary and before he became prime minister. So, as the title indicates, Boris Johnson did not only give up his American citizenship because there were underlying questions about his loyalty and perhaps him toing and froing between America and the US prior to him becoming prime minister. He also had the IRS on his ass. Okay. So the title says Boris Johnson says bye bye to US citizenship after tax row. The article goes on to state British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson, who was born in New York City, was among a record 5,411 people who surrendered their U.S. citizenship in 2016, according to IRS data released today. As with many other expatriates, Johnson's decision was likely motivated by taxes. In 2014, Johnson objected to an IRS tax bill for the sale of a home he owned in London, calling the amount outrageous. The U.S. taxes its citizens living abroad on their worldwide income. The article goes on to state Johnson ended up paying the undisclosed bill in 2015. The number of Americans who renounced their citizenship or gave up long-term U.S. residency is at an all-time high, according to the International Tax Blog. It is up 26% from 2016. The escalation of offshore penalties over the last 20 years is likely contributing to the increased incidence of expatriation. Tax attorneys Andrew Mitchell and Ryan E. Dunn wrote in the blog. So, as this article indicates, it wasn't solely that former Prime Minister Boris Johnson was considering a run for Prime Minister when he was Foreign Secretary. It was also that the IRS was like, give me my money. Give me my money. And in order to not pay his taxes, he relinquished his American citizenship. Okay, and then I did just wanted to quickly share one more article. This is from The Guardian. This article is over 10 years old, but to make the point, because people like to be in my comments, fake trying to correct me like I can't read and comprehend and understand things with context. Okay, so this article states, London Mayor Boris Johnson to renounce U.S. citizenship. Move by conservative politician born in New York is to remove political obstacle to him becoming prime minister. Boris Johnson is to renounce his U.S. citizenship, removing a potential obstacle to him becoming British prime minister. The London mayor has dual nationality because he was born in New York, but has now revealed that he wants to hand back his American passport. Quote, the reason I'm thinking I probably will want to make a change is that my commitment is and always has been to Britain, the conservative politician told the Sunday Times during a week-long trip to the U.S. Quote, it's an accident of birth that have left me with this thing. I've got to find a way of sorting it out, he said. Johnson, who is running for Parliament in Uxbridge and South Ruislip, said he would approach U.S. Ambassador Matthew Barzun about the change. It is a laborious business that don't make it easy for you, he added. So there you have it. Multiple things can be true at once. So former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, before he ascended to the premiership in the UK as British Prime Minister, he renounced his American citizenship, one, to indicate his loyalty to the people of Britain, and two, he did not want to remain having to pay taxes to the American government. Although I live here in the UK, I still have to file my taxes back home every year. Same and same. Obviously, I ain't making the kind of money Boris Johnson is making, so I don't have no outstanding IRS tax bills. But if you are an American citizen living outside of the U.S., Uncle Sam still wants you to file your taxes, and if you owe the American government money, they are going to come for their money. So there you have it. Those are 3 things that I am ineligible to do as an American citizen living in the UK. Did any of these things surprise you? Drop down and leave a comment below. I post new videos every Monday. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see y'all next time.